Hey, speaking of horses, are here at the Festival of the Horse and Drum, and we are really glad to have you join us. We're going to take you on a trip right now to meet many of the people, the great horses, that were here at the Festival of the Horse and Drum, celebrating many breeds, many disciplines, and many horse cultures. Festival of the Horse and Drum, every year, St. Charles, Illinois. This is from the Festival of the Horse and Drum. My guest, Janice Fisher. Now, Janice, you do a lot of things with photographs, artwork. You do all kinds. Let me see your button that you have here. Did you bring,
I didn't bring a button. I'm sorry. I just brought a wood print.
Here's a wooden print. I'm going to hold up here. Now, this is your horse, right?
No, that's Lisa Dearson.
That's Lisa.
The Royal Lusitanos horse.
Okay.
And what I did is, this is from a carousel horse series.
Okay.
So what I do is I photograph real horses to depict looking like real carousel horses.
Okay.
And this horse has a perfect arch. We made the costume, the way he reacted and everything was just perfect, what we asked of him.
Okay.
And then I did a little gel transfer onto a wood print and make art, greeting cards, prints, calendars with these images.
Well, here at the Festival of the Horse and Drum, your booth is actually right here. This area that you see with this white webbing is actually the back of your booth, so we're actually neighbors here at the booth. Now, this is Lisa's horse. I'm going to hold this up to this camera.
It's a Lusitano.
Lisa Dearson, who runs the event.
Correct.
And this horse is one of her. It's a Lusitano, right?
Yes.
And but it's wonderful. You do some great work. Actually,
thanks. You were looking for the poster.
Well, that's okay. The program for the event has a horse on there that is your horse.
Right. Would you like me to get it? The button?
Yeah, go get the button.
Okay, sorry guys, we're really close. Sorry.
She's close. She'll be right back. Get the button.
Yes, this was a little surprise. I entered the photo contest here for Festival of the Horse and Drum, and that is my horse, Ruby, and we have a Native American Indian, Art Shigoni, on it, and it won the poster contest, so it's on the program and everything, and it really says a lot about the festival.
Yeah,
horses, Indians, the water, life, living.
Now this picture has, the water in the background and the teepee and kind of an inlet. Where did you take that picture?
Indian Summer last year, up at Summerfest grounds in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay, that's at Summerfest in Milwaukee. Okay.
Right. So Ruby it was the first year they had horses, and Ruby was invited, and we planned the shot. Art was walking around, and I asked if I could take his photo with Ruby, and it was perfect. The teepee was there, the water's there. I mean, what a great shot.
That's fantastic.
Blue sky.
Yeah. So, you do a lot of things. You do the postcards. You do.
Can't help it. It's typical artist, right?
Right. and you are so laid back. You have no energy showing at all, right?
Right.
So, tell us a little bit about the calendars, the posters, the postcards, all the things that you get involved in.
Well, it's kind of like I'm fortunate enough to combine my art with my passion, horses. So I'm able to make a living with it, and I make the greeting cards. Artwork for people's walls, whether it be a carousel horse or custom print of the person and their horse. So that's what I just do. I just make little gift items and prints and stuff. It just kind of works.
And we met last year at the Festival of the Horse and Drum, and we also met at the Film Festival in New York.
City. Yeah, we met in New York, and we're neighbors practically.
Yeah, and but these are some really beautiful things. This actually is a live horse made up to be like a carousel horse.
And that horse is perfect. That's a Frisian stallion.
Right.
Falkert. So
it's a real horse, but the trappings, make it look like a carousel horse. So it's really neat. Now, how do people get a hold of you?
You can reach me on my web, janicefisher.com. And Janice is with a C and Fisher is with a C. Or my phone number, 847-736-5826.
Yeah.
But
it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Or
fun.
Come to a horse event. Come to Festival of the Horse and Drum, or I'll be at Equus Film Festival this year.
Yeah.
Will you be there?
I will be there.
Great. New York City.
Yeah.
In November.
So, Janice, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Hey, speaking of horses, and we are at the Festival of the Horse and Drum in St. Charles, Illinois, and really happy to be sitting here next to an old friend. Well, I'm going to take the word old out. Colleen Kelly is with me, and good to see you here.
Oh, it's great to be here, Wayne, and it's a beautiful part of America, so I'm absolutely honoured. And what a festival. It's amazing. There's so many different things to see here. It's not just your normal trade show, not just a normal show, and the performances of the show last night, the gala, and the beautiful Spanish horses, Lusitanos, Frisians, and all the Western horses, English horses, dressage, and just amazing festival.
Well, it is. It captures, you know, the Spanish influence. It captures some of the Western. The Timmerman's drill team is fantastic. It also captures a lot of the Native American spirit and those things. So there's a tremendous amount of stuff here, and the shopping, and you can see the horses. You can be entertained, and it's just, you know, St. Charles is a historic area here west of Chicago. So tell us what you've been up to.
Well, since I saw you last, I've been absolutely flat out. I've been all over the world. I've been to Royal Dublin Show and went out to London to the Metropolitan Mounted Police and worked with their team, and they were wonderful reception there and got a beautiful award, and from them they're lovely, and been back to Australia, done a couple of clinics. We've got clinics coming up in Australia, but we're focusing mostly now on teacher training. I don't do too many actual clinics of teaching riders anymore, just too busy these days, but the teacher training for the International Society of Rider Biomechanics. We now have an amazing symposium in Kentucky every year that's co-hosted by the University of Kentucky, Asbury University, Midway College, and the Kentucky Horse Park, which is just the most amazing venue that anybody could ever see, and Black Pearl Farm, which is my own farm, and we have amazing speakers from all over the world, and our keynote speaker is Luis Lucio, who's coming out from Spain, head of the Dressage Federation and member of the FEI board, and two-time Olympian, and an amazing, lovely gentleman, very soft and kind with the horses. And so the symposium is a huge focus of what we're doing these days, but we're doing teacher training clinics all over the world, and really thrilled that the South African Pony Club have recently contacted me to take the Society's Kids Safe program to every single pony club in South Africa. So I'm thrilled about that, and the Kids Safe program is all about teaching children just that little bit differently from adults and a little bit safer. So yeah. Thrilled, busy.
Well, very busy, and you know, it's funny how you watch this industry evolve, and like I've known you for several years and watch, you know, when you first started coming over from Australia. And how the thing has evolved and progressed. It's an amazing story.
I know, it really is, and it's been, you know, quite a few bumps in the road, as you know, and arriving over here and putting all my pennies to come to America. I always wanted to be here, you know. And I had a little table at Horse Expo and Equine Extravaganza, a little tiny table, and that's it, maybe a little handmade sign or something like this, you know, which I smile about now. And of course, then in 2010, I was asked to speak at the World Equestrian Games and did 17 presentations there, which was just such an honour and such a thrill. There's so many Aussies there, Guy McLean and the Double Dans and the guys, and there's just, and Emily Ferran, a famous vaulter from Australia, trick rider, and so the little Aussie contingent was having a lot of fun there, and I loved it so much. I just bought a farm in Lexington, Kentucky not long after, but then of course got breast cancer, had to go back to Australia to get that all sorted, and now being cancer free, I'm back and I'm working harder than ever.
Well, we're certainly glad, number one, that you're healthy again, and you're out here and doing all these things, and that's tremendous. So, and that symposium that'll be now, when is that going to be this fall?
It's in October. Starts on the 15th of October, and it goes for onto the 25th of October, and we have level 1 and level 2 teacher training. But we also have a Luis Lucio clinic, and you can come watch that, and we'll ride in that too. And then we also have on the 19th of October, we have an open day at Black Pearl Farm, which goes all day long and into the night. It's a ride to music night that night, and it's a fundraiser for Paris Vaulting that night. And then we have the gala awards night on the October the 24th, and at the Clarion Hotel, and it's a fundraiser for the society itself. and specifically the Deanne McRae Foundation that funds a lot of scholarships, especially for police and pony clubs.
And then, just a week after that, the Breeders' Cup will be in Keeneland.
I know, Keeneland. It's just such an exciting time of year because Kentucky, I mean, you know it and I know, but back in Australia, they wouldn't have a clue that Kentucky shuts down in winter. I mean, that sense closed, right? November, it's under snow and nobody wants to do anything. And so Keeneland only has a couple of races a year and a couple of sales a year. And so does, you know, like Louisville, the Kentucky Derby is one of them. But, you know, it's just amazing that it's so few races there. So when we do have races there, then they're a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I think, you're right. Kentucky, when they threat of snow or ice, they just close down.
Yeah, well,
living in Wisconsin, we're kind of looking at them like, what?
What's
you know? But you know, it is it's an amazing place to be, and that symposium sounds like it is quite a deal to attend.
Yeah, it really is. You know, we've got incredible speakers representing nearly all of the major sports, and Professor Camargo from the University of Kentucky is speaking. Dr. Karen Hanks, and as I said, Luis Lucio, myself, Kelly Sigler, who rode Rolex and Horse of the Year, Eventer of the Year, and we have chiropractor lady, a gentleman, I beg your pardon, and an amazing muscle lady, Priscilla Roberts from Tennessee. She's just takes a completely new look on how muscles actually work, and so and anyone can come, you know, and juniors come, and we offer a 2-for-1 because of the juniors wanting to come because they can drag mum along or dad along, and dad can go and play golf or something, you know, and or if they're both riders, they can both, you know, one can come for free. So some great discounts, and we've got those great scholarships too that anybody can apply for the scholarships, and we have to attend completely for free. So we have individual scholarships, but we also have group scholarships and a special police scholarship as well. So any police mounted unit or sheriff's mounted unit or anything like that can apply for that scholarship to come and attend for free.
Wow. Well, and everybody at St. Charles is happy to be here watching you because you're here, and I'm sure you're going to be doing more expos as well. So, Colleen, thanks for taking a moment.
You're welcome. It's wonderful to see you again, Wayne. It's great.
All right. We got more coming. We're in St. Charles, Illinois, Festival of the Horse and Drum. Stay with us right here on Speaking of Horses. And my guest now here at the Festival of the Horse and Drum is Yvonne Bartow. Now, you just did a clinic. You just came back from the clinic.
Yep.
But you have been working in this area in classical riding, dressage, and many things for a lot of years. And give everybody just a brief history of how you got started with this and how you have progressed to where you're at. Just a brief synopsis.
A brief synopsis. Well, I'll tell you the silliest thing first then is I actually thought I invented dressage. So that's already silly since I'm certainly not old enough to have done that. But I was riding, I worked on the racetrack for about 7 years, and then I started working with breaking horses and problem horses and trouble. And then after a time, I thought I had developed a way of riding that was easier for horses. I kept my legs on, and I could feel them with my legs, and I had a great connection, and I thought I had invented this way of riding that wasn't race horses, it wasn't hunter jumpers, and it wasn't Western, which was all I'd been exposed to. And then I was at the feed store, and I picked up this book called The Complete Training of Horse and Rider by Podolsky. So I read the whole book in 24 hours and realized I did not invent dressage. And then I've been a student of it ever since. And so I started at the Arabian Nights Dinner Theater to learn more about dressage because they had horses that knew more than I did there. And so I met my husband Kim there, and we were there together. He was a trainer for 10 years there. I was the director of entertainment operations and the principal trainer. And then we moved on to Illinois, where we started KYB Dressage, which is Kim and Yvonne Bartow.
And you're still doing it today?
Yes, that was 20 years ago. And yes, we're still doing it. We still have the entertainment in there, but we're basically dressage people.
And I think we first met like either around Equitana time or something years ago.
Yep.
And you've been doing a lot of, not only the training now, but you do a lot of specialty shows. You just did one at Briarfest a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that was fun.
A nice evening show, all, wonderful presentations and all entertainment, you know.
Yeah, and it was actually all dressage that turned into entertainment. When you add great music and a costume to a horse and a rider, and it's still dressage, all of a sudden that boring dressage looks so much more interesting, and kids like it. We have the Lion King act that's gotten so popular, where we have two horses or one horse dressed up as a lion with a rider jungle girl kind of on it. Now we have dancers on the ground and flaming bolos, and so it's turned into quite a production number with really great music, and people love it, and they don't even know they're getting fed dressage.
Well, I love that description, but it's so true. You take, you know, it's like a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down.
Exactly, the dressage
you know,
medicine.
You have certain things like, oh man, that dressage that is so methodical, so long, so all of these things, and then you turn around and you put the musical freestyle to it and the costuming,
Yep.
and you turn it into entertainment. And in this day and age, people who attend a lot of these festivals, they used to come to these festivals where you lined up your clinicians and everything was like this trainer and this trainer and this trainer and this trainer and the vendors. And now the people want to go that next step. They're evolving into more and more of the entertainment things.
Yeah.
Like they did a show last night. And you've done a lot of different shows. And, you know, like the Briarfest show that we mentioned. And these other things that you're involved in that after you've been to a few training clinics and this and that and the other, you just want to go in the evening and be relaxed. You got brains running out your ears from knowledge. Now you just want to sit back and be entertained. And if you're entertained by the same things that you were just educated on or with, it makes a huge difference in how it all perceives in your mind.
Yep. And I'd say, like, one of our new things we did for the first time at Briarfest, Dan James, who you know,
Right.
and we made a routine that incorporated one of his Liberty horses with my Grand Prix dressage stallion. And we had a Liberty horse and a Grand Prix horse working in the ring at the same time. And eventually the Liberty horse joined up with my Grand Prix horse and was working loose with me. And then we have some clips of it, which I'll share with you later. And I think that people didn't even know what they were seeing. They were just entertainment. But they
Right.
were watching two really good crafts
Right.
right at the top of their game. And it was fun. It was just fun. The costuming, the music was great fun.
And the really fun thing about that completely is the people that don't really understand the difficulty of what was going on and how much horsemanship it took to get to that point were still entertained. All right?
Yes.
They thought it was great. The people who appreciated not only the entertainment value but the difficulty or the mastering of the craft or the horsemanship to get to that point, they were just as entertained by it. So because of the appreciation for what it took to get there. But you covered all the bases that way.
I think so, and I think there were fans of just a loose horse doing fun things, and then also a storyline performance, and then as well to see the dressage and a horse working, you know, at an actual competition stallion working
Right.
in the arena with a costume on with a Liberty horse.
Now, you were talking about you and your husband do the training here. How do people contact you?
KYB Dressage, that's us.
that simple.
KYBDressage.com, KYBDressage@AOL.com. That's us.
And you're right here in Northern Illinois.
Yes, we are in Maple Park, Illinois. Yep, easy to find.
It's not very far from St. Charles, right?
Not at all. No,
So-
this is our stomping grounds.
So you're in the West Chicago suburb area, for those of you that aren't familiar with the area. So, you know, they do some great stuff, and it's been a lot of fun to work on and off over the last, dare I say, 20 years.
It has been. I remember you were at the Equitana that I did the bridleless Quebec
Yeah,
routine
yeah.
with. And that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Time sneaks up on us, you know.
But you're still the voice of the industry, that's for sure.
Well, I appreciate
I can
that.
recognize your voice so easily. I hear your voice, I'm like, there's the horse fair guy.
It drives my wife nuts because we will be somewhere. We were actually buying a TV at a Best Buy in Janesville, Wisconsin. And I went over to look at something else, and my wife comes back and she goes, "Darn you." And I said, "What?" And she goes, "The gal selling the TV said, I didn't want to say anything while he was here, but doesn't your husband announce in Madison, Wisconsin?"
And yes, he
And
does.
she goes, "Yes." She goes, I knew that voice. Same thing, you know, and it's like, and it just drives her nuts, but that's okay, because I'm always, the fact that we're on TV, forget that. I always say I have a face built for radio. Okay? So we're fine. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. We're here at the Festival of the Horse and Drum in St. Charles. But KYB Dressage.
KYB Dressage.
And
That's me.
Get a hold of Yvonne or your husband Kim, you will not be disappointed in any and all of this that's happening. Lisa
Yes.
just walked by
There
the
she
way.
is. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. I'll be in New York as well.
Oh, you're going to be in New York?
Yes,
are
I
you?
will.
Oh, cool.
Yep, great.
Yeah, we're going to get something in that Equine Film Festival, I believe she's got going on
Yep,
there.
I've
so-
got a show I'm going to be submitting on a Frisian farm.
Oh, great.
And this Frisian farm in Vermont that we just filmed at in 4th of July, they do their own artificial insemination, their own embryo transplants. They do everything right there.
That's pretty
And
good.
we actually filmed the birth of a beautiful Frisian filly out of a thoroughbred mare. And it looks weird to see that newborn filly coming out of a thoroughbred mare that's basically brown, but the whole show is pretty interesting in how they do their own ultrasounding there, all right on the farm. And it's nice to go to a place in the United States where you're on a mountain or a hilltop in Vermont. You have no cell phone reception, no internet reception. And the little town had no restaurant. I mean, you are like, if you didn't get it at the B&B that morning to eat, you didn't get it.
You don't get it.
You don't
Wow,
get
that
it.
sounds like a good place.
It was a neat place.
Oh, yeah, I might wanna
Frisians
go
of
there.
Majesty.
Frisians of Majesty.
Yeah,
That
it's
might be
neat.
something fun, too.
So we're going to have a show on that we'll be having in New York as well.
That will be great. Good to
Well,
see you.
thank you very much. Hey, speaking of horses, we are here at the Festival of the Horse and Drum. And right now, one of our fine sponsors here on Speaking of Horses, Tom Tweeton, Dr. Tom Tweeton, I forget that sometimes, and Equessential. So, haven't run into you for a while. We've kind of been on different paths, but so what's new and exciting that you're working on?
Well, I'm working on a project that we've been working on for about 5 years, and we're very, very close right now to bringing it out on the market, and that is a shampoo called Equichrome for whitening, a whitening shampoo, but we're also complementing that with a whitening conditioner as well. So for those really hard to clean areas where the staining has gone on for a period of time and the washing just doesn't do it all, we come back with a colored conditioner which will help color over some of those off-colored areas and turn those browns and yellows and oranges into grays and hopefully a hint of pearlescent white.
Well, that's intriguing because I know nothing more frustrating, and especially if you got a horse that's got quite a bit of white on it, to have it all cleaned up. You're at an event. The next morning you go to the stall and the horse has laid down in a little manure or whatever. Or the worst case scenario, you got one been in pasture all winter and they get pretty dirty and dungy. And now you're trying to bring it back quick because I know we never put things off till the last minute, right?
Obviously not, but once in a while that actually happens. And you've really hit on two different sides of the coin here in terms of staining and the durability, because those stains that occur over winter, that's a long exposure. Not only have we had the discoloration occurring, but we've probably, as a result of that manure, we've had pH changes, so we have damage to the hair, and those colors actually absorb in, whereas that overnight stain, if the hair has been cared for, and people have had the opportunity to attend one of the grooming clinics that I've done, many times those stains are very superficial, and using a rinseless shampoo, even like our coat cleaner or one of the other rinseless shampoos that are not very harsh, using those to clean those areas, those can wipe out fairly easily, and we may only have to come back with a colored wash solution with the purple coloring in it to finish off that last batch of stain.
Well, you've had great products for years, but now you're coming with this new group of products, and like you say, you're very close. You're not there yet, so we don't want anybody to think that it's available today, but you're very close.
It'll be available next year. We're just finishing up the label. I've got one or two ingredients that I'm trying to decide that affect the appearance. And as many people know, when we formulate our products, and I work on those formulations, we want as many of the ingredients as possible to function for the horse. And so those other ingredients are in there more for the human appeal.
Right.
I oftentimes have a question: how bad do I want to include those in there as well? But we really want to focus on the ingredients that are working for the horse.
Well, it's always a pleasure to run into you, and I hope I didn't hurt you too bad when I to run into you, and we hadn't seen each other for a while, and we had breakfast this morning and discussed things, and I'm just, always glad to be a part of what you're a part of, and like I say, the Retired Racehorse Project coming up in October. I wish you could be a part of that. That would have been a lot of fun.
I wish I could, because, we had a wonderful time down at the World Equestrian Games working with some incredibly talented horse people, and I know you're going to be working with some of those there. But, I'm going to be working with some highly, highly infectious and wonderful horse people in all of October when I visit our dealer in New Zealand, and I'm going to have an opportunity there to spread the word.
And obviously if you get to pick a trip to New Zealand or come spend a day or two with me in Lexington, you're going to New Zealand. I know that.
Well, thank you, Wayne, but I hope we have an opportunity, I know we will, to continue this collaboration of speaking of horses and equessentials and really getting the word out to horse people that there's a lot going on in our community. So thank you.
And we're going to do a campaign. When that product is released, we're going to do a campaign about it. So, Tom, thanks for stopping by and saying hello.
Thank you very much, Wayne. All the best.
Stay with us. We got more coming here on Speaking of Horses. Hey, here we are. We're still at the Festival of the Horse and Drum, St. Charles, Illinois, and we're having a great time. And Deborah Ratcheter is my guest. Now, run into Deborah a lot around the country. She does Crest Ridge Saddlery and is excellent in the saddle fitting world. So, Deborah, tell us a little bit about this saddle and the things you would do to ensure that this saddle would fit, say, my horse.
Okay. Well, first of all, this saddle was presented to me for a 10th anniversary of my saddle maker. At that time, he was my youngest saddle maker, and now he happens to be my oldest. And he gave me this saddle for us, an anniversary gift. So how we start is we ask you for photos and measurements of your horse. And now to find that, we direct people to our webpage, and we ask for certain photos and certain measurements of the horse's back. And then from there, we go to our tree shop, and we make a tree for your horse to fit you and the horse. We'll give you an interview over the phone to ask you about height and weight measurements. And sometimes people come just to these expos so that we can fit them personally. So then from there, your saddle tree goes back to you. We ask you to photograph it on the horse if need be. And then it comes back to us, and we build you one of the saddles that you design. You can pick the decorations, but we're going to make sure that tree fits that horse.